Hello, everyone. Welcome to workshop number 2. So we're here today because of the global crisis that we're all experiencing and how there could be fear, uncertainty about our physical well-being, our economic well-being, our inner peace might have been disrupted. But Dr. Pillai is teaching that doesn't have to be that way, that we actually have the power within us through the direction and focus of our thoughts to recreate our life, to literally create something new. And in the workshop 1, I talked about how we have over 50,000 thoughts in a day, and that through yogic practice, we can actually direct them and make use of them so that we become more powerful and less fearful, less brought into a scarcity consciousness, which is very popular at the moment. So today we're going to the next phase. We're going to talk about the creation phase, how we can move from that diffusion of poverty and scarcity to abundance. And this is such a ripe time for us. With everything going on in the world, we have a huge opportunity for personal growth. And that's why we're creating this workshop. We've brought together as many teachings of Dr. Pillai as we can cram into the hour that we're going to be together to provide to you absolutely free so that you have an opportunity to make the most of this time right now. So now what we're going to do is move right into workshop number 2, the creation phase of the manifestation formula. I'll be playing a video. It's about a half an hour in length. On the viewing page, you'll see 3 things that you can download: an action guide for your goals, a mantra loop, and a meditation, a quick meditation with Dr. Pillai. I encourage you to go ahead and download all of those. You'll need them to begin the creation phase of your manifestation process. I'd also like for you to start typing down there in the comments from 2 days ago when we did workshop 1, where we talked about diffusing the negative thoughts, how many of you been using the technique, the midbrain tapping technique, the identifying and diffusing your negative or poverty, scarcity consciousness feeders? Have you been using the technique? We really want to know. I understand it's a little hard to actually put a practice together. That's why we're doing this, and that's why we're doing this together. And we're giving you as many options for you to be able to stay on track with the downloads and these workshops. And then, and number 3, the next workshop we're going to do, we're going to teach you how to sustain it. So we're not done yet. And then of course, Dr. Pillai will be joining us on May 31st, and you won't want to miss that one. He'll be wrapping it up. We'll be doing an entire blueprint of the formula, and he'll be giving a meditation and an empowerment that you'll need really to make the most of your practice. So let's go ahead and get started with workshop number 2. Go ahead and turn off any distractions, and let's begin. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your Wealth Activation Workshop. In lesson 1, we covered the poverty mindset and how you can and want to diffuse and remove that from your consciousness before creating something new. We likened it to a field and having weeds in that field, and in order to plant a new crop, you want to be able to remove what's there to have a fresh start for nurturing creation, your new manifestation. We learned about 3 poverty mindset feeders and how to diffuse them. We also learned a midbrain tapping technique on how to access the unlimited miraculous consciousness of a particular part of your brain. In this lesson, we are going to talk about the creation phase. This is my favorite part, right? This is our ability to now manifest what it is we want into fruition. And so we'll learn the variety of steps on how to do that and a sacred sound that will accelerate your ability to create what you want. Once you've diffused your poverty mindset, and we've likened that to clearing out the weeds on a field that you want to plant something new into, it's really important to be consciously creating what it is you want to newly develop in that field that you've opened up. It's the building and the creation phase. It's actually my favorite. The diffusion is necessary, but the creation, that is so much fun. So what we're going to do today is teach you how to consciously plant new seeds into your open field, and 4 methods in which you get to nurture and manifest more freely with the techniques from Dr. Pillai. The first step in the creation phase is knowing what you want. It's important that you have clarity over the type of goals that you want to manifest. Dr. Pillai recommends not focusing on more than 3 important or high priority goals at any given time. So we have an action guide that you can download and you can start noting those down. It's really good to write out your goals. It actually creates a connection with your neurons and the manifestation process becomes a little smoother. Now there's going to be a couple camps here. Some people don't know yet what they want, and that's okay. We're going to get to that later. But the folks who do know what you want, I want a new house. Okay, let's use that as an example. Now it's time to get really clear on what that house looks like, feels like, how large it is, where it is. All the things that surround the actual physical object should be very clear and infused into your senses. You should be able to smell it, feel it, embrace it, love it. There should be so much passion. It should be so much fun thinking about this particular object, whatever it is you want to manifest. So maybe it's a house, maybe it's a vacation, maybe it's a new relationship, maybe it's a fulfilling job, maybe it's having enough abundance, financial abundance in your life to be able to give to charities, to support somebody and yourself, to have financial freedom and freedom from having to work, creating a lifestyle that you love. All of these are examples of wealth, and your wealth is only you can define what your wealth is. So when you're defining what your wealth is or what it is you want to manifest, what you want to create, that's why it's important to get very clear and very specific. I've had the most results when I was very clear. And a couple techniques that I did was that I would dream it up. I literally, on my commutes to and from work, I would dream up and think about what it felt like, what it would look like, just in completely imagining a scenario. Who was there with me? What was going on? And whether that's a new job or a new house or a relationship or financial abundance, it's all the same process. Dreaming up, loving, getting very specific about what it is you want to manifest. You need that roadmap to get from point A to point B, and point B is the manifestation in its physical form. Where you are now is dreaming it up and feeling it as if it's already existing in physical form. This is where your energy is coming from. This is where that creative force is coming from. So I want you to take a minute and look and just think about what it is you want to manifest. What does it look like? What does it feel like? How does it embrace it and love it? Now, for the folks who don't yet know what it is you want, that's okay. We're going to get to how you can still use techniques in order to have something naturally rise up. I should also note that if you're manifesting something and you feel very strongly about what you want, it's important to give it up in surrender and ask the divine and whoever you believe in to bless you with whatever is in your best interest, which is best for you right now. Because sometimes we overshoot. Sometimes we want something that maybe isn't the best for us. So we have to put that little caveat in at the end of our manifestation. When Dr. Pillai says, now release it, I think this is what he means. Now, if you watch the video of him, he'll go through the whole manifestation process and then I'll say, okay, now release it. When you release it, you're giving it up to the divine and asking for whatever's best for you to become a reality in your life right now. Sound, according to both modern and yogic science, is the fundamental building block of reality. Sound is the seed in which creates our experience. Learning about science of sound is learning about the science of creation itself. Quantum physics string theory is perhaps the most scientific of all modern research about sound. In the pursuit of trying to understand what matter is, scientists discovered something they were not expecting. As they continued to analyze matter at smaller and smaller units, from gross molecules down to subatomic particles, they came to a point when the seemingly soulless matter disappeared. What they found was vibrations, something they called strings or unidimensional sound frequencies. They discovered that matter is actually a form of sound. This explains how God created the world using the word, referred to in the Bible. The word is the sound. Quantum physics calls it strings. The Bible calls it the word. And the yogis call it mantra. The science of mantras is the science of sound, or the science of creation. The yogis have carefully documented the different sounds of nature, what sounds create what, and how they can be combined and applied to successfully create a desired reality. One of the most powerful types of mantras the yogis discovered was the bija. Bija means seed. It's the seed sound. And Dr. Pillai likens it to a seed you would actually plant in the ground. So for example, if you want to grow a mango tree, you would get a mango seed and you would put it in the ground and allow it to grow. The intelligence in that small seed becomes an enormous tree. The same thing works in terms of the mantra, the sound. When you plant a particular sound, it has the intelligence to manifest itself into the seed elements, the intelligent element of that particular sound. For example, if you want to manifest a relationship, there's a sacred sound or a mantra for relationships. If you want to manifest wealth, internal and external auspiciousness, there's a mantra or seed sound for that. If you want to manifest health, there's a seed sound for that. So it's important to know what type of seed you want to plant so that it can arrange itself to manifest for you naturally. Dr. Pillai revealed that the ultimate wealth mantra or seed sounds are Shreem, Brzee. Brzee was given to Dr. Pillai by the great sage Vishwamitra. He was divinely transmitted to Dr. Pillai in this life, and then Dr. Pillai took that sound, added Shreem to it in order to create an even more abundant way for us to use and manifest. And when we start using this sound, it begins to arrange itself in our consciousness and allow inner and outer wealth to flourish in our life. Dr. Pillai goes on to say, the primary goal of Shreem Brzee is not just bringing you material wealth, but the greater wealth of consciousness. The material wealth will only be a byproduct. You will get what he calls a 200% life, 100% material and 100% spiritual. Shreem is going to give you a permanent merit. What is permanent merit? Health is permanent merit, not just physical health, but spiritual health. It will also give you psychological health, beautiful relationships. Why? Because Shreem itself is a mantra that is completely full without any flaw. It creates a flawless life. The sound Brzee does a number of things. It gives you a new birth to your consciousness. Br is birth. What does it give birth to? Abundant wealth. Z represents abundant wealth. These sounds together have the entire wealth of the universe packed into them. Now that you know what your goals are, and if you don't worry, we're still going to get to that, and you know what the ultimate sound for wealth is, the mantra, we want to teach you 4 methods for planting that seed, the Shreem Brzee, deep into your consciousness. We are bombarded, remember, from lesson 1 with over 50,000 thoughts per day. Those thoughts are taking us in a variety of directions. But what we want to do is stay focused on what we want to manifest. We have a goal in mind, and now we need to fuel the creation of that goal with these sounds, with this power. So we're going to learn 4 ways that you can incorporate this into your life right away. These are fundamental, practical, and hopefully very effective ways for you to be incorporating Shreem Brzee. The first method we're going to talk about that it helps incorporate Shreem Brzee into your everyday life is repetition. So there's a few ways you can do this, and here's why. We have all those thoughts, right? And we have a subconscious layer of our mind that is operating in ways that we maybe don't want it to. It's using the feeders to prevent us from creating wealth. What the mantra does is quietly and effectively, if you're persistent, break away at that subconscious layer. So there's a cork experiment that they did. Scientists wanted to see if a piece of cork could dent a piece of steel. And if you shoot a little piece of cork over and over and over and over again onto the same part of steel, it will eventually dent it. And this is what Dr. Pillai means when he says you need to hammer the mantra. He literally says the mantra should be hammering, hammering, hammering into the mind. So when we repeat the mantra, we're hammering away at all of this stuff we don't want, the things we want to diffuse, the negative attitudes, the programming that we've gotten from other people in our lives, whatever that is that's blocking you, your blocks, your old beliefs, whatever that is, the mantra will be able to hammer away at it the more you do it. That is why it's so important that you are committed to doing this over and over and over again. So some questions that people always have. How do you do it? Well, you can chant inwardly or outwardly, chanting out loud, Shreem Brzee, Shreem Brzee, Shreem Brzee, or inwardly under your breath without anyone being able to hear it. Dr. Pillai recommends that you might start out with it out loud. This way it's more physical for you. You're chanting Shreem Brzee, Shreem Brzee, Shreem Brzee. You're able to feel the vibration of the mantra through the body. And that vibration is what is making an impact on all of your cells. It's making a difference. Then you can go quieter and you can go quieter and you can go inward. And the more inward you go, the more subtle that sound becomes. The more subtle that sound becomes, actually the more powerful it becomes. So there isn't a good way or a bad way. It's whatever works best for you. You can try it out chanting out loud, and then you can go into a quieter state and an inner state. That's how. The next we always get asked is when? When should I do it? You should do it all the time, right? You should do the mantra all the time. I like to set reminders for myself, or little triggers, like when I wake up in the morning, is there something I can trigger? Or sometimes I put on notepad on the side of my bed, Shreem Brzee, this way. As soon as I wake up, that's what I'm thinking about. You can set a timer, a beeping watch, or an alarm, or something like that, that allows you to remember your manifestation, as well as remember chanting Shreem Brzee in order to help that manifestation come to fruition even faster. At night, before you go to bed, when you're lying in bed, chant Shreem Brzee. Before you eat or during eating, while you're cooking, while you're waiting online, whatever it is, be programming yourself, training the mind to fill the gaps with Shreem Brzee. Especially if you notice you're off into thoughts that you don't necessarily want to be entertaining at the moment. Shreem Brzee, bring it back. The other is how often. How often should I chant this? Again, all the time. The minimum we recommend is 108 times per day, which really doesn't take very long at all. That's very manageable, about 5 minutes. But the faster you want results, the more you have to do this mantra. So I would do it as much as I possibly can. You can use a mala bead and count when you're doing the repetition. There's little automatic counters you can use now that you can count how many you've done, and that's just a way to keep you focused. It's fun to measure how many you've done, but it's not necessary. So the counters and the malas, for me, they also help me keep me focused versus my mind is going off into other directions while I'm chanting. There's something about the physical movement that also brings my focus to what it is I'm doing. So this repetition is tying our mind to the mantra, and this is a yogic technique. We ultimately want our mind to become the mantra. And Dr. Pillai says when that happens, then anything is possible. So slowly and consistently with perseverance, we're able to bring our mind back to the mantra as much as possible through this repetition. So here's a pro tip. If you play Shreem Brzee 24/7 on some audio device, whether it's in your ear pods or playing on a player, it will help to remind you to chant. It also is just bombarding your consciousness and your hearing and your vibration with this mantra. Dr. Pillai says it literally fills the space. So you'll want to do this, and it has helped me to remember to chant, and also just bringing my mind and my consciousness back to this amazing mantra. The second method to infusing the mantra into our consciousness is through a mind process meditation. This process brings us deeper into what Dr. Pillai calls the doorways to our consciousness. He says that the eyes, the ears, the nose, the mouth, these are all ways that we involve ourselves in this three-dimensional reality. When we infuse a sound, a sacred sound, into these doorways of our consciousness, we're creating a blockage. We're filtering out some of that noise that we receive into these doorways, and that Shreem Brzee can purify that. So even as well as your breath, you're bringing your breath in. Your breath is associated with your mind. You notice if you have rapid breathing, you usually have some rapid mind process going on. This meditative process, this mind process that we're going to provide you, will give you the ability to come closer to your own divine self and use this meditation, this sound, to go deeper into the effect of Shreem Brzee. The third method of incorporating Shreem Brzee into your life is by writing it. Mantra writing is an ancient technique that's been done in order to take the unmanifest, the mantra, into a manifest form, physically writing it out. So how does this work? Scientifically speaking, when you handwrite a mantra, you are engaging in a psychoneuromotor activity, meaning when you write it, you see it, you sub-vocalize it, you're kinesthetically writing it, and as a result, you literally program the mantra into the hard drive of your subconscious mind, where it acquires the power to manifest. We recommend that you do this as much as you possibly can. Of course, ideally, we'd like for you to write 108 times per day. That might not be available to you every single day, so write it 3 times, 9 times, 27, whatever it takes for you to get into the habit of consistently writing out Shreem Brzee. I like to doodle it and use Shreem Brzee when I'm in a meeting or have any idle time. It's just a fun way to take from my mind into the body, through the hands, into a physical form. So it's really important that you also have fun with these techniques. The fourth method is group synergy. When you're getting together with more people, you're actually amplifying the effect of whatever it is you're creating. So synergy in definition is having a greater effect as a whole than you would by the sum of its parts. So individually, if we're at home doing our chanting, we may having some effect, but when we're together, we actually amplify that through our energy and our synergy with one another. For example, the power of group synergy is also known as the Maharishi effect, referring to the scientific research performed by the Transcendental Meditation movement started by Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, who happened to be Dr. Pillai's first formal teacher. One of the most prominent studies was when approximately 4,000 people joined in meditation in Washington, D.C., despite having nothing else changed. The crime rate was lower. The police department surprisingly reported over a 23% decrease in crime during the time of when the meditation was taking place. Based on data, the probability that this result could have been a coincidence is less than 2 in 1 billion. The study was one of many that have been demonstrated that the more people who focus on one thing, especially at the same time, produces an amplification effect that increases with each person who participates. That is why chanting, writing, praying, using Shreem Brzee in a group creates a much more effective way of you getting more benefits than if you were doing it by yourself. For example, Dr. Pillai said that if we chant 1,000 repetitions and there's 100 people performing this, then that's 100,000 repetitions that we each get to benefit from. So we're actually all benefit from the energy that's coming through in the group. This is a great boon to be able to have a place for you to come together, because you're not putting in more effort than you would if you were chanting by yourself, but you're receiving more benefits. So we love the opportunity to offer group chanting, and we very much encourage people to be taking advantage of those times together to increase their practice and to get results faster. Now we're going to actually use group synergy and experience the mantra together. So get yourself into a quiet, comfortable location if you can. Close your eyes. Now we'll listen to Dr. Pillai as he guides us through a short mind process meditation using Shreem Brzee.
Close your eyes and put your attention in the 2 nostrils. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, hold, breathe out. When you breathe in, you say, breathe in with the sound Shreem Brzee, along with the breath. It goes along with the breath. Okay. Now breathe in with Shreem Brzee. Now hold. And while you are holding, says again Shreem Brzee. 3 times. Shreem Brzee, Shreem Brzee, Shreem Brzee. Breathe out. Shreem Brzee. Breathe in. Shreem Brzee. hold the 3 times Shreem Brzee, Shreem Brzee, Shreem Brzee. Breathe out, Shreem Brzee. Do it centrally. Now don't tense yourself. If you cannot hold the breath, then you can just do with sending Shreem Brzee through both nostrils mentally without thinking about breath. We'll do that. We are now sending Shreem Brzee through the nostrils into the third eye. Hold. You send out Shreem Brzee through the nostrils. Go in with the Shreem Brzee into the third eye and come out of it through the nostrils. Both nostrils. Both nostrils, through the both nostrils, the Shreem Brzee is entering. 3 times Shreem Brzee. Or if 3 times is not possible, just say even 1 time. Shreem Brzee. And then send it out through the nostrils. Do it for a few minutes. And if you do, even if you are able to do 1 minute, it will work. At least that 1 minute you have been able to stay out of even the 40 or 50 thoughts you're thinking and regulating your mind. So this is something that everybody can do. And you can do it as many times as you want. There are no rules around it. Okay, at least you can do this. We'll start with it.
Placing some movement, gentle movement back into the body. Deepening your breath. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. For those of you at the beginning who weren't sure what you wanted to manifest, I didn't forget about you. The folks who did know what you wanted to manifest, and now you're incorporating Shreem Brzee in all of these ways, you're going to be able to manifest faster with these techniques. The folks who don't yet know what you want to manifest, Shreem Brzee will still be your solution. How? Do this methodology, these 4 ways in which I've encouraged you to incorporate Shreem Brzee into your life. The more you do it, the more the mantra will be able to work on your inner consciousness. It'll be able to refine the energy there. It'll be able to bring you clarity, purpose, joy. You'll literally see a new blossoming of your consciousness unfold. And that is how you'll find out what it is you actually want to create. So there's no harm in knowing or not knowing what it is you want to manifest. Shreem Brzee will help you in both ways. So does Shreem Brzee really work? We get asked this all the time. When Dr. Pillai introduced the mantra in 1998, millions of people around the world have had the benefit of using it. And we have been reporting incredible results, miracle stories, success stories from people of all walks of life. I'm going to go through a few right here. Take Prash, for example. She found Dr. Pillai and Shreem Brzee mantra on YouTube and started using it right away. She was depressed, unemployed, and directionless. Now she says she has everything she wants, thanks to the mantra and Dr. Pillai. Ruth lost her job because of COVID-19. She started chanting over the weekend and received $400 for no reason at all. Kevin received a substantial check out of the blue, $6,500. Arun changed his life in 15 days, more than he has been able to in the last 5 years. Kevin was broke, had no job, borrowing money from people, sleeping from house to house, literally nowhere to live. Now, in only 10 months, he's bought land and built 4 houses, a quantum leap of prosperity. He also won the lottery on Christmas Day for $24,000. Although Maria's outer abundance has increased, she loves it just for the peace it brings her. Bryce was able to build $1 million business with the help of Shreem Brzee. Layla was able to manifest a new home, a successful new business, and quadrupled her income. Heather manifested her dream salary. Adam increased his creativity and his business by 100%. Ayana was able to manifest her dream home and find her life purpose. Dr. Gulal Kaba manifested podcast, TV show, and her dream car. Sarda avoided knee surgery with the healing power of Shreem Brzee. Wildside manifested $10,000 in 48 hours. And that's just a taste of the overwhelming reports that we've seen on social media, as well as when people send us directly their stories. It's so incredibly inspiring. In fact, the last 3 online courses that Pillai Center has delivered, when we've asked in a survey for those who are in the membership how Shreem Brzee has changed, 65% of them said that their inner joy, happiness, peace of mind increased by over 60%. And the same 60 to 65% said that their material wealth had increased by 50%. So those are pretty incredible results that have been produced by the use of Shreem Brzee outside in any which way you can use it, as well as through structured courses offered by Pillai Center. So far we've learned chanting, meditating, mantra writing, and group synergy in ways that we can use the Shreem Brzee mantra. We also learned about creating our goals, writing our goals. All of these are techniques that if you used consistently will actually make a difference in your life. However, if you don't use them, and usually human habit has us default into old patterns, if we don't use them, we won't create results. So what we want to do is provide you with the tools and techniques you need to sustain your practice. So in lesson 3, we will give you the success psychology technique, as well as what we call the dynamic daily practice for wealth creation. We want you to come to that workshop so that gives you the tools you need to sustain, because if you went to the gym once, you're not going to be in shape. And if you did everything to prepare your field or your plant soil and then planted your seeds and walked away, nothing would grow. So this is where we're at. This is a sustaining phase, and everything we've taught you, and including what we're teaching you in the next lesson, will need to be sustained in some way in order for you to see the fruits of your practice. So we look forward to seeing you there on lesson 3. In the meantime, what are you going to do with your Shreem Brzee practice? I'd like for you to type into the comments below, just make a statement. I'm going to do whatever of the 4 methodologies we taught between now and the next workshop. Also, don't forget to download your goal action guide, as well as the mantra, repeating the mantra audio, and the meditation, the Shreem Brzee meditation with Dr. Pillai. You can access all of these on the viewing page that you're here on now. So until next time, I hope that you're utilizing Shreem Brzee and giving us some updates the next time we meet, and I'll see you soon. Hello everyone, and whoops. Welcome back to the live portion of our live stream. So I saw that there's some questions being posted in the chat, and I'm going to use this time to answer them. So if you haven't yet posted any questions, you have them, please go ahead and post them now. Quick reminder, some of those folks who are going to leave after this, before the Q&A, don't forget to come back on May 28th for lesson 3, and on May 31st for Dr. Pillai. You won't want to miss those special sessions. We'll be wrapping up and Dr. Pillai will be giving you an empowerment that you need to really have Shreem Brzee be most effective for you. So I'll go ahead and get to some questions now. So someone asked, if you're surrounded by negative people, what do you do? Well, that's a really good question. In fact, we talked about feeders in workshop number 1, and in the course we're going to be releasing very soon, we talk about more feeders, and feeders as well as influencers, the things that influence and help create our thoughts, and your surroundings, your actual space karma, and people in your life influence your thoughts. So it's a very real thing that you are sensing. And there's a few of you who mentioned this in the chat. If you're living with someone who's more negative than you, for example, or they don't support your manifestation or your practice, that is a real consideration, that you are being impacted by the thoughts of others and the space in which you live in. Again, we're going to cover that more in the course itself, but for right now, you can continue to chant Shreem Brzee and ask for the space to be cleared and ask for divine intervention. But do know that that is impacting you, and it is a real consideration for how you may want to construct your life. Now, if you're in a marriage and you don't want to leave that marriage, we have had some really good miracle stories of people who have been chanting, praying to Dr. Pillai, and having a result in the sense that their partner or the person they're with is actually changing along with them. So there is hope. If there are people in your life you are not wanting to leave the situation, then there's a possibility of some transformation that could happen. Another question was, can Shreem Brzee give health as well as relationships? It can. It can bring you all. Dr. Pillai says that Shreem Brzee gives everything that sustains a life. So relationship, health, happiness, prosperity, material and spiritual abundance, all sustain our life on earth. And so Shreem Brzee can help with all of that. Happens to specialize in the area of prosperity, right? So, but we can definitely use it for a variety of things. Another question was, can you tap? Okay, can you use Shreem Brzee while you tap? Yes, you can. Definitely, you can do that. I noticed there's some other questions in the chat about using different mantras. Dr. Pillai doesn't suggest combining mantras that aren't combined in another string that he has, or another that has been given out. So for example, use Shreem Brzee by itself. Don't add on Kleem or another mantra. Use it by itself, but then just chant your other mantra separately. So you do your Shreem Brzees 100,000 or however many times you do, and then you do your Kleem. So you can use multiple mantras at any given time and like throughout the day, just not necessarily combining them to make your own new string of mantras. This is what Dr. Pillai had recommended. Another question we have is, are there any order in which you do the methods that we just gave? So no, there's not. We're trying to make it as easy as possible for you to do. The whole idea is that you do it. So whatever works best for you. If you're wanting to chant or meditate or write in any which order, that's fine. Another question we had is, does empathy affect your manifestations? For example, feeling sorry for the pain of others in your life, or extending your energy to other people who are in a tough spot. Dr. Pillai very specifically talks about this in terms of how far you should go. If you should have compassion, and you can help someone to the degree that it does not impact your sovereignty, your positivity, your prosperity, because you can't help yourself or other people if your inner and outer life is deteriorating. So so the answer to does it affect it? Yes, it absolutely does. If you are letting your thoughts be consumed by and worried about someone else, that is taking you away from your manifestation. Remember, we learned that the thoughts are creating your reality. If you're constantly thinking about someone else who's not in a very good place, guess what's happening? Those thoughts that could be producing more results, more fruitful activities, and love and prosperity in your life are being drawn away to something else. This is in fact impacting your manifestation. Again, in the course we are going to be releasing soon, we have a feeder called being overly responsible, and that's what this one would fall into. How we feel overly responsible for people or things, and we get consumed by it. We're actually feeding a scarcity mindset by being by thinking about someone else's issues more than we need to. Let me see what else we have here. Okay, question about Brzee versus Shreem Brzee, or just Shreem. So last year, Dr. Pillai did a lot of videos around Brzee, just Brzee, and we actually have a whole course on it, Brzee Abundance System. It's and he actually is going to talk more about this on May 31st, but Brzee itself is this like packet of intelligence that can give us so many things. And I'm not going to spill the beans because he's going to talk about it on May 31st. So there's a lot in there. And yes, you can chant that all by itself. Shreem is also a seed sound. It's been around forever for Lakshmi. And Dr. Ply happened to combine them, but you can do them individually. We love Shreem, we love Brzee, but we're recommending you do Shreem Brzee together or Brzee by itself, either one. So the combination is what Dr. Ply is recommending to get the most power out of them. The significance of the ring finger on the right hand. Dr. Ply did midbrain tapping technique. I think it was several years ago. And he went through the different fingers. I don't know that he said the significance of each one of them. So I don't have that information. Definitely using the right hand, because the right hand is what is always recommended for doing anything auspicious, whether you're offering or holding your yantra, things of that nature. So I don't have the specific information, but Dr. Pillai does say that the different fingers are tied to different energy centers in the body. I just don't recall which one he said that this finger is for. Can you fall asleep listening to Shreem Brzee? Absolutely. I do it every night. I have the player on 24/7. It's in my room and throughout the house. And so I just happen to put it lower at night, so it doesn't necessarily keep me awake, but the energy is there, and then I wake up to it. If you don't know what you want as a goal and your thinking is negative, we need to control the mind and stop all the wrong thoughts. Is that a question? I think it's a question. The answer is yes, you do. So for example, that's a good question, because this is where a lot of people are. A lot of people are stuck in not knowing exactly what they want to create, and then just having a lot of negative thoughts. And then we go through life happening to us, as opposed to us consciously creating what it is we want to manifest. And the idea here is you're consciously creating what it is you want to manifest. And these negative thoughts are always going to be rising up. Now, the more you do Shreem Brzee, the less negative thoughts will be rising up. And this is a beautiful byproduct that will happen over time. So right now, though, you have all these negative thoughts and you're wondering how to combat them. And we gave you a couple techniques, but guess what? Even doing the technique is hard when you're so filled with an automated default brain that is bringing you into a negative mindset. And billions of people around the world are caught in this trap. So you're not alone, but we're giving these techniques. And we talked about group synergy as a way to help us get results faster, produce more by doing the same thing, but having a bigger effect when we do it together. And that is something we encourage you all to do. This will help decrease those negative thoughts faster when you're doing them in group. And right now we're hosting live daily Shreem Brzee practice calls on the Shreem Brzee YouTube channel that you can go to every single day. We do Friday morning Pacific time chanting calls as well. So there's a ways for you to get together in group. And in the program that we're going to release soon, we have so much support system in there, because we understand we're giving you these techniques, but we also understand that it's sometimes just hard to do them. And doing them together and in a structured way and getting reminders about it, and gathering a community and making friends with people is a way that actually helps lift you up away from that negative default mind that we have. It can help burst through that to a new way that you can manifest. And I love our Shreem Brzee community is amazing. If you're not in the Facebook group, go join it. It's Shreem Brzee Official. We have the Instagram account, we have the YouTube, and if you've been in a program, we have private Facebook groups. And the energy around the Shreem Brzee community folks, is just off the charts. I've never experienced anything like it. And I've been in many other programs, even at Ply Center. The Shreem Brzee group is by far the most dynamic and positive. And I think it really erupts from the use of the mantra. It's like you can't not be positive and feeling the energy of this mantra come through when you are joining these programs and in these groups. So definitely try to get together with folks if you're feeling like you really are like being in a quicksand, kind of being pulled under. This is where your friends, your community can help really build you up and pull you out. Okay, is it same writing on paper as it is typing? This is a good question. In fact, Dr. Ply himself answered this many years ago. Someone's like, I just want to copy, I want to type it and then I want to copy and paste. And he's like, no, it doesn't work that way. You have to write it out. He said, if you are only going to type it and not write it, okay, that's better than nothing, but that's not the technique. So writing it out is where you're taking it from the non-physical and putting it through your body into the physical. And someone was mentioning handwriting. Don't worry about your handwriting. No one's going to see that. It's just you, right? And the divine. So just start your practice, have fun with it. You don't have to do, even if you don't do as many repetitions, maybe you want to do a few really beautiful looking versions of the script, then it's totally up to you. You're working with this. And in the next session, we are going to get more into a dynamic daily practice, which is how you incorporate all of these techniques into your life in a way that you're going to persistently continue them. Should we use Shreem Brzee before feeling what we want, or during or after? So if you know what you want, you can imagine that first. And then as you're inside of this creation, you can be using Shreem Brzee. And it really doesn't matter if you start with Shreem Brzee and then go into your manifestation, or manifestation and then Shreem Brzee. It doesn't matter. You're going to blend them at some point, and whatever works best for you. There's just no wrong or right answers on that. Okay, I think any other questions? Okay, so this is funny. Someone said, can you use Shreem Brzee to win the lottery? I feel ashamed asking. First of all, there's no shame in anything, right? We can let go of that. And you heard a few of the stories where, people just came upon money. One person won the lottery. There's going to be a video that's going to be released soon of someone I spoke to, who she's an amazing person. She's been in several of our programs, I think all of them. She won $80,000 last year and using lottery. And she consistently wins on a regular basis because she picks her own numbers, and she is kind of getting really tuned in to intuitively on how to do that. So it's possible. It's not like one of our highest recommended ways, but people are doing it. So yeah, by all means. Can spiritual people become wealth conscious more than material people because of their positive mindset? Well, let's just strip away spiritual versus material people. If you have a positive mindset, you will have a different consciousness, okay? And people who are spiritual automatically have a default consciousness. It's not necessarily, though, positive, and it's not necessarily attuned to wealth. Okay, so there's some deconstruction that needs to happen in your question to fully understand really what's going on here. When you what you focus on, you become. So a spiritual person might not be focusing on wealth, also might not be very happy. They may feel this is all temporal and I dislike and disassociate with this world. That's a very spiritual person who has no inclination towards the material world. That's not Dr. Ply's teachings, because he teaches a 200% life, 100% spiritual, 100% material, to come together and give balance. But so the answer to your question in terms of if your mindset, you're going to talk about you, if your mindset is positive because you have some spiritual practice, then yes, you can probably more easily attune to a wealth consciousness by using these techniques. Okay, there are some questions about the techniques, the four methods. One is repetition, repeating the mantra inwardly, outwardly, playing it on repeat. Then we had meditation or mind process, how we're getting, not just repeating it, but now we're using it. In fact, on the viewing page, there's a 2-minute meditation that you can download from Dr. Pillai where he puts Shreem Brzee into the different doorways to your consciousness. And I mentioned what those were on the first workshop. The next is writing it, putting it into physical form. And the fourth way is group synergy. So using any one of those methodologies and then doing it together in a group to have a bigger impact. All of them play a very special part in how we can utilize and benefit from Shreem Brzee. So I want you to be typing now into your comments, what ones are you going to start doing this week? Or which ones are you already doing? And are you having any results with those? I think those are all my questions so far. Can we use Shreem Brzee to help others going through a difficult time, specifically health-wise? This is a great question, and it's a really good one to be careful with. When we try to help others, it depends on how far you go, right? So of course we want to help others if they're having a challenge, but you don't want to do so in a way that you take on their karma, which is what Dr. Pillai says. If you get so involved with somebody's life, you might find things start happening to you. Like when your health was good and now maybe you're finding some challenges because you're helping out someone who has a health challenge, or you're trying to help someone who is financially having a difficult time, you might start having a financial difficult time, because everyone has a certain karma, a certain mindset, a certain destiny that will unfold. If they are not interfering personally with their own destiny, and you're only going to have so much of an effect, and it'll affect you. So it's not such a good system to do that. What you want to do is teach them the techniques. You want your person that you want to help to do the techniques themselves. If they physically cannot, you can offer them some support, like if they're in a nursing home or if they're in a place where they're incapacitated, you can put some energy absorbing things like a coconut or something in the environment. You can put a mantra, things like that, that's going to still help them. You can also order online remedies that get performed for them through a Vedic priest. We have through Astrovet and Pillai Center, we offer a lot of those. That way there's an energy exchange that happens, and the priest is doing the karma removal or the soul level shifting, and that's not on you. So I hope that makes sense. You really want to empower the person to do their own manifestation changes. And if that's not physically possible, you can throw them a rope, you can give them some help, but don't be doing it all for them. That's going to be too hard on you. You will feel the impact, and that is probably not what you want, because then neither one of you are benefiting. How about chanting for a spouse if they are stuck? Will it affect our karma? Spouses are one of those they're obviously very tied to you. So you'll, and this goes back to two of the questions I just answered. One, if you're surrounded by people who are negative or having challenges, and then how much are you doing for them? But spouses, since they're so close to you, you again want to see if they will do it on their own. And then minimally on their behalf. You don't want to get too involved, but when you do your practice with the intention, especially shifting a relationship that you're in, then you might see miracles happen. We've seen it and have them reported. Spouses just start changing miraculously. Okay, so when should we do the breathing meditation told by Dr. Pillai, and is there a time limit? You can do it anytime, and there is not a time limit. He said it himself as well. You can do this technique as long as you like and any time that you like. All right. Virginia said, I've been doing Shreem Brzee a lot. I feel better already. I attract more people. Just a change in mindset. Absolutely. This person saying, when I tap, I feel my Kundalini rise up to my heart chakra, but no further. I guess I need to clear through. Yeah, just continuing doing. There's these energy passages, right? The Sushumna is going through the middle of the body, and all the chakras are aligned on it. And when you're doing the tapping, a lot of people have experienced Kundalini rising. So this is something that may happen to you. And I also saw there was other people noting some different sensations. Everyone's different. You may have experiences. There's no wrong or right to it. And I did get into more on workshop 1 about what that might mean. How do I improve my visualizations of my goal? Practice. Practice improves just about everything. Funny how that works, right? So when you're wanting to improve the visualization, think about it, love it, feel it, get more and more clear about it. That's how you're going to do it. What do we do with the written mantras? Okay, good. So, excuse me. For example, I had Brzee written on this mug. Another way to remind me of the mantra, I like to have things in my surroundings. So what do you do with after you've written the mantra? You can burn it or you can keep it. So it's got a lot of power to it. If you don't want to keep it and you're having so much, you can burn them. All right, I think that's all our questions. Excuse me. Okay, last call for questions. Lots of people asking about the replay. So on this page, the viewing page, you'll see at the top, there's a replay for number 1, and then you'll also be able to get the replay for this one. Number 2, if you're viewing this on YouTube, look in the description of the video. There is a link to the original viewing page where you'll be able to download the action guides and the mantras and the audios. You'll also get a link to the replay. So it's all there for you. All right, I think that's everything. I hope I've seen all the questions. So we're going to wrap up now. If you have any other questions, you can continue to post them in the chat below. We'll be monitoring those and taking a look. Also, you feel free to write to office@supplycenter.com. I did mention we will be letting you know about a new program we're developing, and hopefully we'll have that to you in a couple days, more information. And then please join us for May 28th with part number 3 and May 31st with Dr. Pillai. Thank you so much for joining. You're amazing. Your energy is amazing, and wishing you huge results at Shreem Brzee. Now is the time to be using this mantra and to be manifesting inner and outer abundance. There's just no better time than right now. We can do this. I will talk to you on May 28th. Namaste.